When my father started teaching me how to use a table saw, he instilled one thing specifically, and that is keep the edge of your material tight to your fence at all times. And why? Because kickback happens when your material is not parallel with the blade. Kickback doesn't happen from here, from the front of the blade. It happens from the back of the blade because those teeth are coming up. And when you turn the material out of parallel, two things are happening. One, the material is fed into the path of those back teeth. The second thing that's happening is you're putting friction on the blade because your material is capturing the blade on either side. So I'm cutting through it. So this is my cut piece. This is my off cut. And so when you turn it like this, you're applying friction to the blade. Friction allows the teeth to grab the material and throw it back at you. So the main thing to do when you're cutting on a table saw, and my dad drilled this into me over and over and over again, know where the blade is at. Keep your hands on either side of it, but keep your eyes on the edge of your material against the fence. What that does is it tells you immediately if you're coming out of square with the blade, because you'll see that shadow between the edge of the material and the fence grow. This is so important. If your material does not come out of parallel, you drastically reduce the amount of possibility for kickback. The only thing that could cause kickback aside from that is your material having binding at the back. So when you cut through, that kerf doesn't remain parallel, it grips at the back like that. And that can happen with solid wood and the moisture content being such that there's tension on that piece and it wants to come back together. So to summarize, make sure your material is parallel with the fence. Make sure your fence is parallel with the edge of your blade. How you can do that is you can loosen up your fence, bring it over to this miter gauge slot, and just feel and make sure that the edge of this is flush with that, because usually these miter gauge slots are perfectly parallel with the arbor of the saw motor itself. And aside from that, just make sure your piece is flat on the table, tight up against your fence. Keep your eye on that fence while you can still see out of the peripheral where the blade is. And I'll show you just right now what I mean by that. I have to cut this piece here. That's why I'm not moving the fence, because the fence is set and I don't want to move it because then my pieces won't be the exact same size. So I'm going to cut that now and just demonstrate the proper way, the safe way to cut your material on a table saw. Tied up against the fence before even coming near the blade. I'm pulling this material towards the fence, and this hand is going to grip up top. My thumb is going to push at the back of the material, and I'm going to kind of rotate it like this. Because if anything's going to happen, that front edge is going to want to come away from the fence. Now right about here, I was transitioning my hand, this hand from pushing against the fence to rotating this piece away from the blade. So I was pulling like this and rotating. That way, this piece was maintaining its pressure here by this hand, pushing it over, and this piece was getting pulled away. And what that does is it makes sure that the pressure against the fence is on here, not here, that the front of this material binds into the back of the saw blade. I hope this video was informative for you. I hope that it gives you a little bit more confidence and helps you to understand just a little bit more how the tool works and how you can be safer and more productive in your shop. Thanks for watching.